Yeah, Solid Hill TD, yes, what's up? Yeah, come on. LW Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. Hey. L Boogie with the hot flame, ashtray full of top names, little tree for your membrane. This the 9-hour time frame. I just snatched up a 6-pack, got my hands on a lid pack, whipping up a little batch of snacks. Yeah, man, I think I'm all set. Late night, can't sleep. Go ahead and just tap in. Better grab you a cold one, and we about to get some laps in. Wild card on the microphone, he'll hit you with a couple flurries. Y'all need to just strap in for some entertainment sports commentary. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You heard the intro. We about to raise the bar because it's the last show of the week. It's Wednesday. You know what it is. Your man, Wildcard Mar, in the building. It's episode 426, late night owl edition of the RW Sports Show. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, man, I don't know about you, but if you need to get a drink, if you need to get something libation, whatever vice you got to just kind of just sit down and chill, you don't want to miss this episode. My man just came off a vacation. He went to Puerto Rico. He went to Miami, Orlando, got a little tan on him. But he back, y'all. And I had to bring him back to the show because, hey, we got some things to talk about. And it's time for him to let his rant fly. We'll definitely get into that. And we'll, because it's the last show of the week, we'll definitely drop my top 10 NFL power ranking according to me. We'll do that, and I'll have my guests kind of nitpick it, see what his thought process is. But without further ado, man, no stranger to the show, representing Ball and Buzz Sports is Entertainment. My brother, the sports professor, Omar Fonseca, is in the building. What's up with your bro there?
Yo, what up, my brother? I don't know why. Oh, there we go. I thought it was a little dark up in here for a second, looking a little bit like you with no light if you was over there, but that's okay. We good. I'm back. We here. We live now. I love you, my brother. Thank you for having me on, as always. Representing Ball and Buzz. You already know, my brother. Thank you so much. Coming off the sabbatical. Like you said, been on vacation for 3 weeks, ain't had a show, ain't done no Mind of the Professional, Ball and Buzz, no Clubber D, nothing. Been traveling, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Miami, Dallas, Los Angeles, just seeing the fly Latina ladies and seeing all the pretty babies. And Omar was, woo, style, jet profile, wheeling, dealing, kiss stealing. Son of a gun, I love you, Rick. Woo.
That man was stepping, wasn't he? Ooh, that man was stepping. Hey, man.
They had me doing the merengue and the salsa. I didn't know what I was doing.
Hey, man, when that rum chata get to hitting, man, hey, you don't know what you do. You just do something. You just move.
Salute, my friend. Salute the Puerto Rican rum. Salute.
No doubt. Hey, man, obviously, you know what happened. And I just got to say it, man. This is why I have people like you on the show. Because you the sports professor. You talk knowledge, all right? And if you missed the episode that I'm talking about, go back. You'll find it. It was preseason. We did the preview to NFL season, team by team, as much as I could, as many teams. I didn't get all 32 teams in, but the teams that I did get in, I had to get my man Omar talk about his Las Vegas Raiders, and he had a take, and he hit it spot on. He said at some point in time, Davante was going to have to get traded. And poof, while you on sabbatical, he got traded. New York Jets. Hey, man, I'll ask my questions. I'll ask them, but I really would just want to give you the floor, man. You gotta have a rant about this situation, man. Hey, man, floor is yours, bro.
And Mark, I know you're my boy. I know you're gonna let me give my rant off, but really, I really just want, as a professor of many different, educational, different, segments, I need to be able to explain to the people the history of what has just happened here. And so this goes so much back further than Davante Adams. Davante Adams is a cog in the piece of shit that is the Las Vegas, Oakland, Los Angeles Raiders since the last time we went to the. Am I able to curse on this show? Man, really?
Hey,
okay.
It's late night hour. We keep it gut over here, baby.
On the late night. I'm fucking sick and tired of this shit. This is just another piece of shit cog in the log of bullshit that we have been dealing with as Raiders fans for years. Now, I'm going to put my personal feelings aside, but I do want to give a little bit of history lesson as to why this has come about. Because this is something that the Raiders have continued to do to themselves over and over and over again. Look at Randy Moss. You can go all the way back to Jerry Rice when he was 40 years old. We brought him over, and he made a Pro Bowl, and we loved him for being over there with Tim Brown and taking us to the AFC Championship and to a possible Super Bowl. But then we got our asses whooped by the Buccaneers because we traded John Gruden, and Bill Callahan decided his dumbass wanted to run the same damn system. Now let's go back even a little bit more around that time. How about we look at Bill Belichick, Tom Shady, and the rest of the New England cheaters? Tuck rule, which is the bane of my existence and the worst football call in NFL history.
Yeah, terrible call.
All of this goes back to, my friend. All of this goes back to the Tuck rule.
And not to cut you off, what makes it worse,
please,
Tom Brady is now part owner of the team. He got ratified. He's in there now. Don't
make me quit my team. Don't make me quit my team live on air. Don't make me do that. All right. Look, I'm already dealing with the fact that Mark Davis would be such a sellout and would desecrate his father's legacy like this to allow someone whose legacy is built on our desecration of a franchise is just absolute ludicrous, bamboozled, horse shit. There's too many things. I can't. There's so many adjectives.
It's blasphemous.
Right. It's blasphemous bullshit. And really, that's what this comes down to. Because look at this. How did we get Davante Adams? And I'm not going to go back to the whole rant. Like Mar said, you want to see it, go back and watch it. You can go to our Instagram pages. We got the short on there and everything. And I went through how it was a horrible trade from the beginning. And if you weren't going to keep Derek Carr because Jay McDumbo and Dave Zigga decided they wanted to fuck up our franchise, and Mark Davis decided he wanted to be New England Cheaters West. And you know what? I don't care about my ball and bud sign right now. I don't care about that shit. He decided to do this to us because he wanted to go do the New England way, which ain't nothing but a bunch of Deflategate and Spygate and cheatery and boozery, fuckery, sham mock goddery. I don't even know what you want to call it. It's Monty Python all over in this bitch. Look, before I go off on a rant, which I've already done, we've already gone off on why this happened. Mark Davis wanted to envision the franchise in the New England Patriots West way. They decided to trade for Davante Adams, knowing that we had Derek Carr. They decided, lucidly, may I add, wholeheartedly, may I add, to not only release our franchise quarterback, number 4, Derek Carr, who had given us 10 of the best years of our franchise's history since the last person we had was fat-ass Russell, who was out the damn league, okay? And then we went through a bunch of other randos, Carson injured ass Palmer and all these other ass bums, okay? And we finally get somebody who has solidified the quarterback position. You bring the wide receiver in to be best friends, to complete the cycle, to bring the circle together, to win us a championship. Not only do you not let that last 14 games, but then you embarrass Derek Carr by sitting him. Then you release him and don't get anything for him. Then you piss off Davante Adams by bringing in whack-ass Jimmy Garoppolo, Aiden O'Connell, spend $15 million on Gardner Minshew. How about you spend that money on Josh Jacobs? Where's our running game? You know what we could use right now? Our running game. You know what a running game would do for us right now? Maybe open up the pass offense. Maybe a little bit of play action. And it doesn't even be Gardner Minshew at that point, because we could have ran it back with Aiden O'Connell and accomplished the same fucking position we're at right now.
Amazing how that works, man.
It all goes back to the Tuck rule. And that's what happened. The Tuck rule fucked us. The Tuck rule, the cheaters in New England, the NFL, who did not like Al Davis and conspired to cheat against us with the Tuck rule, screwed us. If it wasn't for the Tuck rule, we beat the Patriots in that game. We go on to win that Super Bowl. We go on, because we're definitely beating the Rams. Come on now. We go on to win the next 2 Super Bowls as well, as long as Tony fat-ass Saragusa doesn't pancake Rich Gannon in the end zone and make him fucking retire. Then we would have had another one. No. You know what happened? We traded John Gruden. Bill Callahan ran the same offense back in the Super Bowl, made us look like some chumps. I was in the military. I had just gotten in the military. Rapping to all my boys, oh yeah, we gonna whoop that ass, blah. We got our butts embarrassed. I had to leave the barracks in the 3rd quarter before I got my ass jumped for being stupid. Okay, so I don't know what you want from me. It's continually bad decision after bad decision. Let's bring in these first round picks. Let's bring in Randy Moss when we don't have a chance. Let's bring in Davante Adams when we don't have a chance. Let's bring in all these other players. And I mean, I can go back to, I forget the guy who was in New England, the defensive lineman we brought in.
Seymour, yeah.
Seymour, yeah. And everybody else that we've brought in, just time after time after time, and it doesn't fucking work. And the thing is, like, at least when Al Davis was around, there was some kind of aura. There was some kind of legacy. There was something that we could build off of. People wanted to come play for Al Davis because of who he was and the legacy that he built. Don't nobody want to play with bowl cut ass Mark Davis? All right? Don't nobody, look, just because you can get some fine ass chick because you got $1 million don't mean nothing when you got a bowl cut on your ass. Mother
bulk.
I love you, Mark.
The Raiders has got you going through it, man. What makes it worse, Omar, is you got a conditional 3rd round pick for him. That's what makes it.
Explain this to me, please, because I got to shout out my boy Clubber D's older brother, Derek Clubs, who put me onto this idea very early after he saw our video, and he agreed that he's a Raiders fan too. He agreed that Davante Adams would get traded, and I was like, look, if we don't get at least a 2nd round pick, we're screwing ourselves. And he said, you know what? The Jets are going to trade for him, and he said that early on. He said, why don't we get a 3rd round and Hassan Reddick? What are we doing? What are we doing? What is a 3rd round conditional pick? What does that even mean? If he makes the AFC Championship in the Super Bowl, who the hell thinks the Jets are going to make either one of those? No one. Put your hands up. Anybody in Mars crowd back there in the studio audience? Huh? Anybody in my studio audience back here? No, it's the wall. No, the wall doesn't agree either. Okay? So what? We get a 3rd round pick after we just traded a 1st and 2nd for Davante 2 years ago? The same decisions every time, Mar. Same dumb ass decisions time after time after time, and you wonder why we haven't been to a Super Bowl in 23 years.
At least the stadium's nice.
Yeah, well, I haven't been because they're too trash to watch. I was thinking about going. My dad was going to buy me tickets for Christmas, and I said, no, they're too trash. We're going to lose against Jacksonville. I don't want to fly out there to watch us lose. No, I don't want to go. No.
Oh man, I look. I mean, you couldn't have said it better than I did. I just don't understand. You move mountains to get Davante, and then you give him away for peanuts. Because I'm like you. The conditions to make that a second round pick, as in you got to make it. The Jets got to make it to the Super Bowl and AFC Championship game.
AFC Championship or the Super Bowl for him for that to be a second round. Really, come on now.
He has to make All Pro. Now he can make All Pro. He can make Pro Bowl. He can do that. But
you can make Pro Bowl. I could throw you out there. You make Pro Bowl. Okay? Everybody make Pro Bowl.
The other condition, as in the Jets' performance on that condition, is crazy because they're not a Super Bowl caliber team. They weren't one before him. I do think he does make their offense better because obviously he does have that connection with 12, well 8 now. But but here's my thing with the Jets. You make the trade, but guess what the problem that you still have? You still can't block for Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
You still got that same problem. So you can have Davante Adams.
You got Tyron Smith, who was playing for the Cowboys. He's giving up 5 sacks. He's leakier than a water faucet right now.
He's old and beat up. It's just a matter of time before he gets injured. Like that's been his MO for the last 6-7 years. He'll get injured. Vera Tucker, who the guard that they drafted high in 2021, I like him, but he stays injury. He's injury prone. Other than that, you have no notable names on your offensive line. Yeah, you bring in Moses from Baltimore, but he's in the latter years of his career. He's 33.
Dude is Moses. What you talking about? That dude, what is he still in the league? I didn't even know he was in the league. That dude is like 305 years old. Same as his weight. What are we talking about right now, dog?
You're still part in the Red Sea. But hey, man,
But he can't part a defensive line. I'll tell you that much.
Okay. My thing is like I talked about it the other night. I understand what the Jets are trying to do. They're going all in.
You have to at this point. You have no choice.
Well, yeah. I mean, you done fired your coach. You demoted your play caller in Hackett, which still was a dumb decision to even bring him in.
You ruined a young man's career in Zach Wilson. That dude might never recover ever again in his lifetime. Like personally, not even just professionally, just like personally, he may never recover from that.
And it's crazy because it's like I'm looking at the Jets and I'm like, it's okay to go all in, but you still got to rectify the things that matter. And your trenches suck on the offensive side. They suck. Aaron Rodgers is 40, coming off an Achilles injury. What are you expecting from him behind the poorest offensive line? He has that. We known Aaron Rodgers to have enough mobility to get out some sacks, but he don't have that mobility coming off an Achilles injury, trying to avoid sacks behind that trash or line. Point blank period.
They don't give him enough time, and that's the thing. Is his release time now? And I read a stat on this the other day that his release time is a half a second longer than it was 2 years ago. And that was just right before his Achilles injury, where he was still getting older, and that was slower than his, premium years. So we're talking, this is a guy who's a second and a half slower release time than his prime. Like, what are we talking about right now? If you can't be mobile and get out the pocket, you got some good pass catching backs in Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. Sure. You've got some wide receivers. If Mike Williams will catch a ball, you got Garrett Wilson, and now you got Davante Adams. Sure. You've got a potent offense right now. But again, can the offensive line keep him, in the pocket long enough to be able to complete a pass? Yes, Davante does help because he is more of, at this point, a possession receiver, a in and out receiver, either short yardage receiver where Garrett Wilson can be more of the downfield connection. Like you said, if you don't have enough time to throw the ball, it doesn't matter. And your defense cannot continue to keep you in the game against these high-powered offenses when you're not able to keep up with the offensive side.
Facts. I'm looking at this NFC North, and all teams are over 500. You got 5-0 Vikings, I believe 4-2, might be 4-1 Lions. Let me double check. 4-2 Bears, 4-2 Packers. I talked about it the other day with my man Tony the Savant. I did not see this from the NFC North that all these teams were going to be above 500. I didn't see this. I thought it was just going to be a race between Detroit, Minnesota, Detroit and Green Bay. I'm sorry, and Minnesota might compete for a wild card spot. And I thought that the Bears would be a dumpster fire. But lo and behold, my thoughts on the Bears. I shared them the other day. I'm still not sold on them. I will give credit when credit is due. Caleb Williams has progressed. He's showing that he can play some ball. And so I'll eat that crow. But what has me not sold on the Bears is I haven't seen them beat anybody worth of significance, and their schedule is going to get tough. What's your take on the Bears so far, man?
Yeah, no, I think it's exactly what you said. We're seeing the growing pains of a rookie quarterback, and you know me, fuck USC. I'm a UCLA fan. I hate USC, so I don't care for Caleb Williams at all. I also know that the Pac-12 is not known for their defensive prowess, and I know that Caleb Williams didn't really face any tough defenses in college. Now, that being said, I also thought with his talent, he had the potential to be a great quarterback. So when we started the season and I was hyping him up, when everybody else, on the bottom line and other places were, not as high on him, and then he started to falter a little bit. I'm one of those people that knows that rookie quarterbacks are going to take time to get into their groups. And that's exactly what we saw with Caleb Williams. Now he's starting to progress. And the thing is that he has the weapons to succeed. They have put every single weapon he could need around him. He has 3 receivers, 2 could be number ones on other teams. He has a tight end in Komet. He has DeAndre Swift, who has come. Not DeAndre.
Yeah, it's him.
DeAndre Swift, who has come on the past couple games. After stumbling out the blocks a little bit. So he has the Roshan Johnson backing him up. He has the offense around him to succeed. Can the defense keep up for the rest of the year? Probably not, but that's just because they're inexperienced. A lot of young players. They got rid of Khalil Mack. They got rid of a lot of their older veterans. So I think that Chicago is still going to be last in that division, as you said. But they're going to be a lot better than we thought they would be. I still think they're not going to win more than 6-7 games. But for them, with a rookie quarterback, I think that's good. I think that's good.
Yeah, no doubt.
And Minnesota is really the surprise there.
Yeah, go ahead. Speak on it.
And I will eat my crow because at the beginning of the season, I still think they're very, very overhyped, and I still think they're going to end up biting the dust eventually. But I said at the beginning of the season, we've seen everything we could see from Sam Darnold. There's nothing else we need to see. They're not going to win. They're not going to be a playoff team, and I still don't believe they will be a playoff team. But I have to eat my crow and say that they've gotten off to an amazing start. Now, I will not be one of those that subscribes to Sam Darnold for MVP or, Minnesota Vikings as a Super Bowl contender. But I will say that I was wrong, and they are a much better team than I thought they were going to be because I thought they were only going to have about 4 wins at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and they've already eclipsed that with still them in Kansas City, the only undefeated team so far. What do you make of this Aiden Hutchinson loss? He'll be out for the rest of the season. I like the Lions. I really think they're good, but I don't know what to really think of them without Aiden Hutchinson. I don't know if they're going to be as potent on the defensive side as they once were. I mean, to be honest, if they don't call the Jets for Hassan Reddick, or if they don't call the Raiders for Max Crosby, I don't think they're serious about winning. What's your take on a Lions going forward without Aiden Hutchinson?
Well, first of all, prayers up for Aiden Hutchinson because you got the right guy on the show. Because just about a year and a half ago, it's almost 2 years ago now, it was February of 2023, I as well broke my tibia. I was riding my bike. I almost got downtown, almost got ran into by a car. I decided to jump off my bike so I didn't get hit by the car. I landed on my heel and my tibia broke, at the bone in my knee. So much so that when I couldn't stand, the ambulance got there, rushed me to Vanderbilt for emergency surgery, said clear deformity. I knew that meant that they could see the bone kind of broken through the skin sort of thing. So let me tell you right now, that is one of the worst injuries you could ever have in your whole entire life. Only thing you can be lucky for, the doctors say, are two things. Either you have a clean break or you have a fracture like mine where it wasn't necessarily a clean break, but you don't have to have multiple surgeries. Because usually this type of injury requires multiple surgeries, at least 2 of them. They told me I would be very lucky if I did not have to come back for a second one. Thank God I did not have to. It worked out that way. So I only had to have that first initial surgery and not the second one 3 weeks later. That being said, I couldn't walk for 3 months. I couldn't even get out of bed for the first 4. My mom and dad had to take care of me hand and foot because I could not move. It's a tough recovery. I am praying for him to come back, but he's not coming back this year at all. And you're right. If they don't make a move, could they keep up? Sure. They've got a very, very good team. Do they necessarily need Hassan Reddick per se? No, but I guarantee you that you're right. He would definitely help them a lot. Max Crosby would definitely help them a lot. And if I were them, I would definitely be reaching out because Max Crosby is a Dan Campbell type of player. And if I'm the Raiders at this point, you selling.
Yeah.
Sell it. Hey, get what you can at this point. And I love Max Crosby, but get what you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Lions, Aiden Hutchinson was going to be the defensive player of the year. There was no doubt.
Yep.
He already had 6.5 sacks in the first 4 games. Like, he was going to be the defensive player of the year before this injury happened, and it's a shame.
Yeah. Shame. It's crazy that injuries can make a difference on how your team looks from 1 minute to the next, man, and that's a huge loss for the Lions for sure. Let's go around the rest of the NFL. Are you buying stock in these Washington Commanders?
I knew it. I knew you were gonna come to me with that crap.
I mean, it's a good story. Jayden Daniels, who I predicted was going to be the better prospect than Caleb Williams, and so far he's showing it. And I'll say this: I thought they were very impressive in the loss to Baltimore. They didn't fold. They didn't pull Josh Allen in the Bills and just got their ass stomped. They hung in there tough. They didn't get the win, but they showed that they can hang with your upper echelon teams in the NFL. Are you buying stocks or are you waiting?
Oh no, I'm waiting all day. Now, I'm from DC, so I've seen this story play out, and I've talked to some of my friends who are DC fans, and as well, I know some insiders there at the camp in the DC camp that they have there that have told me that they believe he is the real deal. Now, they don't want to get excited because of the obvious pass. And there he is, my Redskins insider, On point and on time, Mr. Shane Peacher, live from Redskins camp. He believes, and the team believes, that they are legit. I even asked him how they feel about the RG3 pass, because obviously there are some similarities between the two. And Shane Peacher has told me that obviously, as long as there are no injuries, they believe that he can be better than RG3 ever was. Right. Right. Now, what we've seen it from him is, to that point, the truth. He is the first rookie quarterback ever to have 5 touchdowns and 300 yards rushing and passing per game in his first 5 games. So when you look at that, you say, wow, for a rookie quarterback to come in and do this. And again, I'm going to eat some crow here. I don't usually do this because, I'm the professor. I'm usually right. But I thought that Jaden Daniels was not going to be as good because I saw him at Arizona State. Because again, I was a Pac-12 fan. So I saw him at Arizona State and he was not good. So when he went to LSU, I was like, he's probably just going to flame out under Brian Kelly. He did the opposite. Now he's progressing. Do I believe that this changes Washington's franchise? If he stays healthy, yes. If he doesn't, no. But again, does that mean they make the playoffs this year? I think they're along that Minnesota Vikings vibe. I believe even if he's good enough, they'll still probably flame out, fringe, wild card sort of. But that's not what they care about. And if you ask Shane Peacher and you ask the rest of the Redskins fans and Redskins insiders, they will tell you that progress is him staying healthy, and progress is him and them winning more games than they had expected to win.
True. Hey, that's fair enough. But I will say this: looking at the NFC East right now,
wide open, like Stormy Daniels' vagina. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Sorry, Stormy, you didn't deserve that. You didn't deserve that. I should have said
strays, Stormy catching strays. Hey, but
I should have said Jenna Jameson. My bad.
The analogy still applies. At the end of the day, Giants. Nobody's worried about the Giants. The Giants are still the Giants.
Brian Daboll's getting fired. Daniel Jones is gone.
Ooh. Now I'm with you that Daniel Jones, because I think this is the last year that they got of guaranteed money and they're able to get out their contract after the season.
I feel bad for him.
I think he's gone. Now, as it pertains to Brian Daboll, oh man, it's tough to. Does he deserve to get fired? Yes and no. And here's why I say yes and no. He deserves to get fired because what he did 2 years ago with Daniel Jones, and he made him look like a competent quarterback, but you haven't been able to replicate that the last 2 years. You haven't been
why?
Oh, I could tell you why. Because there's a running back that they had who went up to went to Pennsylvania. He went to Pennsylvania. It's funny how that works when your offense doesn't look the same when you let an elite running back just walk out the door. Got nothing for him. Absolutely nothing for him. You let him walk.
Ridiculous.
You didn't. As far as I've heard, they didn't even attempt to re-sign him.
No, I don't watch Hard Knocks, but from the clips I saw, it was more of a hello, we'll think about it. Oh, really? You don't want? Okay, goodbye, sort of thing. Like you drafted this running back. You drafted this running back to be your franchise running back. He has carried your team. Your team.
Yeah.
And you just let him walk for Daniel Jones.
a matter of fact, if I hear anybody calling him Daniel Dimes, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you because he does not drop dimes. All right.
No doubt. There are no nickels. There are only pennies and below, and I don't even know if there's anything below pennies, but that's all there are.
It's crazy because I'm like, obviously nobody's worried about, but to that part of Brian Daboll, I also don't think that he doesn't deserve to get fired at the same time because their general managers suck. All right, they've absolutely. I understand you've put money in the trenches on the defensive side. That front four, hey, I can say, hey, that's a legit front four. You put millions of dollars in that front four, but the problem is that you decided to bolster up a defensive line, but the defensive side of the ball was never really the Giants' problem. It was we need consistency and actual production on your offensive side, and then you let the big piece of that production walk out the door. So that's kind of like, what are you expected? So I don't. Nobody's threatened by the Giants for sure. Unfortunately, Dayball is going to get axed. He's going to get the axe. Shane hit it on the head right here. Dallas is a shit. Oh man, my gosh!
Wow, what a freaking fall from grace that is! Talk about getting your ass whooped at home. Your defensive coordinator going and getting hired by your rival, and now they have a better record than you, and you're still getting your ass whooped at home. What a fall from grace for the Dallas Cowboys!
Oh my goodness, they are the ugliest 3-3 team I've ever seen in NFL history.
It's bad. It's bad.
And here's the thing, because I know we had talked about it earlier. I didn't think that they were going to re-sign Dak. They ended up giving him $60 million a year. What a waste of money. They re-signed CD. That made sense. And I remember your take. You was like, "We'll try to sign all three."
I did. I said sign all three. Now what do you do? What do you
CD,
do now?
To be honest, I don't know if you re-sign Micah Parsons now.
He's injured now.
Well, not just that he's injured. It's the fact that the defense has been trashed, and it's been trashed with him on the field. So how do I justify giving you this type of money and say that you're worth top tier elite pass rusher money when you haven't really affect the pass rush of my defense? The defense is horrible. Yep. I cannot justify, if I was a smart GM, I can't sit here and say that, hey, Micah Parsons, I'm going to give you Nick Bosa money, but I'm not getting Nick Bosa production. Now, there are games, specifically when they play the Giants twice a year, that Micah Parsons is elite. When he plays Bishop Sycamore, he's elite. All right?
Thanks, Bishop Sycamore.
When he plays elite offenses, I can't sit here and say that you deserve Nick Bosa type of money because you're not a
about that though. Think about what you're saying. We were just talking about him being Lawrence Taylor, the next of Lawrence Taylor, and now we're talking about not even signing him to a contract.
I can't justify it right now. I just don't see Micah Parsons getting that type of money. But the problem is, we're still talking about Jerry Jones.
Right. What are you gonna trade him for though? Right. Like, I mean, you can't get no one's gonna. I don't think anybody's gonna give you. Well, somebody might give you a first.
No. You still trade for him. I don't know if you'll get a first rounder, but the fact of the matter is, we're still talking about Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, I think, will still pay him.
Oh yeah. And he'll wait. He'll wait till the offseason, so he has to pay him $200 million more.
Yeah. And Shane brings up another point. You made zero offensive, or not just offense, but you made little to no move in offense to make yourself better. Me and Tony Savant were laughing at, your biggest move was bringing back Ezekiel Elliott.
Come on, now what are we doing? You got rid of him for a reason. He went to New England and floundered for a reason. So you're bringing him back, and you got him and Rico Dottle and all these other weapons, and Flo would say, "Get the fuck out of here."
Okay, so I like Jake Ferguson. I like their tight end, and CD Lamb is pretty much your only weapons that you got on the offensive side.
They should have signed Derrick Henry. That was their biggest problem. We can admit that right now.
But even if you don't sign Derrick Henry, why did you not re-sign Tony Pollard? Tony Pollard is actually looking good on a trash Tennessee team.
Yeah, playing decent. Yeah.
He's playing decent on a trash team. So I don't know how you don't. And then it goes back to the point, you can't run the ball. So now you're forced for your $60 million man a year to throw the ball 40 plus times a game. That's not winning success. That's not a formula for success. I look at the Cowboys, I'm like, damn. y'all keep just bamboozling y'all fan base, and they just keep working over money. Take it, Jerry. Yeah.
America's team was the greatest branding marketing exercise I have ever seen in my life, because that has lasted the test of time for a team has sucked for the past 30.
Genius, absolutely genius. And then of course last team in that division, who I think I can't wait to see this matchup between Washington and Philly. Philly doesn't still, they're kind of mid. They look mid. They look very mid right now. What's your thoughts on Philly?
They are looking mid, as the kids would say right now. Maybe a little low key. I don't know if I'm saying the things right. But what I will say is I'm too old to talk like that. So what I'll say is I think the Eagles are going to be fine in the long run. Now, this all depends on how much of a crater there is actually between Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. Now, Flo has brought this up plenty of times since the offseason, and I kept downplaying it because I believe that there's always craters between quarterbacks and head coaches. Always. Because you're the two people that have the offensive competing ideas that are going to want to have to, the quarterback wants to run his system, the head coach has their system, and they have to merge and kind of figure out their way along the way. So the whole time, like, that's fine, even if they do have a little bit of disagreement, because that's what's supposed to happen between two offensive-minded people that are trying to head in the same direction. Now, that being said, this crater is looking to be a little more Grand Canyon-sized than we thought. Because when you got Nick Sirianni taking shots in press conferences and subtle shots at that, and then Jalen Hurts responding subtly as well, but no one actually calling anyone out by name, it's going to start to infect the locker room. It starts to bring a sort of disintegration of the morale of the group. And I think that's what's happening right now. Now, again, I believe that Philadelphia has a good enough team to be a Super Bowl contender. I believe that they have faltered thus far, obviously. But I also think that they could be 5-1 instead of 3-3. So I believe that, as you mentioned, the division is wide open. I agree with Shane Peacher. I think that the Eagles and the Commanders are, what we're looking at right now, which is, again, sad to say for the Cowboys. I don't think the Commanders' time is now, even with Jaden Daniels playing so good. You cannot expect a rookie to play that good all year long. So I still think this is Philly's division to win at 3-3.
That's fair. Here's my only gripe about Philly. And I started the year with this guy as my number one candidate to get canned. I was already right about Robert Salah, so he was on the list.
He gone.
He gone. I had a couple other cats on there. I had Mike McCarthy on the list. I had
Here we go.
Shane McDermott, Sean McDermott from Buffalo on there. Robert Salah definitely I had on there, and there was Dennis Allen from New Orleans I had on that list. And Dennis Allen could still make that firing too, because
they could all still make it. Sean McDermott might have got himself off that list, but they could all still make it.
Well, here's my reason why I put Shane McDermott on here, Sean McDermott on there, is because I think that he's just kind of hit a ceiling with him as the head coach with the Bills.
And what about them bringing back Brian Daboll? They had success with Brian Daboll.
I wouldn't be surprised. But here's why I think that why I'm not Crafty Southpaw. What's happening? Man, glad to see you back in the chat. Here's why I not sold on the Eagles. It's all Nick Sirianni. I think the guy's a buffoon. I think he's a clown.
Okay.
I think he's a straight clown. And to Crafty Southpaw's point, and Shane's point, you look how he's lost his coordinators after the Super Bowl, and they just haven't looked the same since losing both those coordinators to Arizona and Indianapolis. And I just think he's just football aside, I just think he's a clown. I just think he's just a straight idiot. What guy goes on their home game coming off a bye, and you just got to admit it, you look like trash as a team against Cleveland. Cleveland's a dumpster fire right now.
Right.
And you struggle with them. It literally, you had to, fuss and fight to get that W from them. And the fact of the matter is that you looking that bad and your crowd showed their disdain for it, and you got the nerves to chirp at them because the clock hit zero and you got the dub. Why? First of all, as a sports fan, I work my ass off for all the money and every last penny that I got to take care of me and my family. And if I decide to spend it on a sporting event to come see my favorite team play, I am in my right to damn boo the shit out of you if you stink up the joint. So what gives you the right to chirp back at the fans because they are displeased with their investment? That's an investment at that point in time. All right. I'm looking for you to look competitive, look at least comparable of what you did 2 years ago. You don't look like that. So I'm gonna boo you. And you got the nerve to chirp back at the fans? Come on, man. Hey, I'm telling you, I don't know how the Eagles run, but I know that wouldn't fly in certain franchises specifically.
No. We both know. We both know. The first sign of your ass getting fired is you arguing with the fans. That is sign number one.
Thank you. But Omar, like, there's sports towns all over America, but there are certain sports towns that are notorious for being fanatics. And Philly is one of those towns. And if they are pissed off with your performance, they will let you know. They flood the radio lines waiting to get their take to tell you how bad you are.
Nobody even listen to radio no more. But in Philly and New York, your ass will be on the radio.
They can't wait to get their opinions off on how trash you are. And the fact of the matter is, there are franchises that listen to those fan bases like Philadelphia because they are hearing the noise. They're hearing the chatter. You made yourself a marked man. You better DoorDash all your meals, and you better not put your name on it.
Yeah, no, you're right. If they don't make the playoffs, he's gone.
He's gone. I'm telling you, man. I think Sirianni is.
Can we talk about this too, though? Is Jalen Hurts turning into a pumpkin? Are we seeing Carson Wentz part 2?
Hey,
Hurts is following the same exact trajectory that Carson Wentz did. Get him to a Super Bowl and flame on down.
I love Jalen Hurts. I love him. I love him as a player and a person. I like him. But the only problem is that if you can't consistently be what you were, there was literally talks of him being the MVP 2 years ago over Patrick Mahomes. And I've been on the record on my show and many other shows. I thought personally he outplayed Mahomes in that Super Bowl. Take away the fumble. That was a bad fumble. I understand that.
A lot of people would agree with you.
But my thing is that what we saw 2 years ago got you paid, got you the contract, but you have not brought that same guy back. And I understand there's some disconnect between you and Sirianni. There's some things that's just.
Do we think another coach would help that? Do we think another coach, like, who is going to be the coach for Jalen Hurts that will bring out his potential? Is it a Mike Tomlin, maybe, that could bring out that sort of potential? Is it a Shane Steichen?
I'm about to blow your mind. I'm about to blow your mind.
Hit me.
Sirianni gets fired. Jeffrey Lurie calls USC and says, "Hey, What's the buyout for Lincoln Riley?
Okay.
Because they're trying it with what's his name? Kellen Moore. They're trying it. It's still kind of sputtering. I don't think it's quite.
Well, and that's looking at Kellen Moore, because now this is the third place in a row that we've hyped him up, and he ain't done shit.
Well, so I mean, so it's to me it's I don't think he's not able so far to overcome the coaching that he had with Shane Steichen.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It was more detrimental for him to lose Shane Steichen than anything else. Because they could play interchangeable parts on the offensive pieces. That's not the issue. Obviously, you got both your wide receivers locked up, AJ Brown, Davante Smith.
One of the best duos in the league, yeah.
Yeah, you got your pieces. You got Saquon. Come on, you got your pieces.
Yeah.
So
you got offense. I mean, Dallas Goedert's hurt right now, but you got Goddard. He's one of the top tight ends in the league.
Yeah.
Come on.
So it's not the lack of weapons. That's not the issue. I'm willing to bet if you gave those weapons to about half of the league, they will look a lot better than what they do right now.
Oh yes, I agree.
So my thing is that the moment that Shane Steichen took that Indianapolis coach job, we probably should have seen the writing on the wall that there was going to be a step back from Jalen Hurts.
How would you like a Jalen Hurts, Jonathan Taylor offense? Let's go.
My goodness. My thing is like, come on, Jalen Hurts. Is like, you got to get back to form. You gotta learn how to.
It's on him too. He got to get better too. He do.
You got to.
He's been way too reckless with his. And I was about to pause like she's way too reckless with his balls. Okay, he's just throwing balls. He's just throwing his balls all over the field to any guy that will catch him. It's like, dude, you don't want all your guys to catch these balls. Okay.
Hey, crazy, Shane. You got a perfect point. There's some guys in coaching world that are just better as coordinators than they are as head coaches. Cliff Kingsbury is doing a phenomenal job with Jayden Daniels. He needs to be consistent with it, because just as quick as he's getting the hype on what the job he's doing, Cliff is I think he's a little scatterbrained sometimes, so he might start feeling himself a little bit.
Have you seen his palatial pad? I'd be scatterbrained too. I wouldn't be thinking about the NFL either when I had all these hot women running around my mansion.
Right? All skeet, motherfucker.
Hey, give a fuck about this damn NFL. What? I got my own balls to pass, motherfucker.
It's crazy. Let's go over to the AFC side of things. Here's another coach that I need to add to my coaching list that's going to get fired. Doug Peterson's about to get fired.
Oh, God bless. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's done.
I don't know when it is. I don't know if they're going to make it through the season with him, but he's getting fired. And
when is their bye week? When is their bye week?
I don't think it's necessarily his fault. My thing is that
Mar.
No, hold on. Just hear me out. Here's why I don't think it's his fault. Because I gave Trevor Lawrence the benefit of the doubt his rookie year. You had trash, Urban Meyer. He had no business being there. I can give you that. I can give you that mulligan. Cool. His first year with a Super Bowl winning coach, Doug Peterson, I was like, oh, Trevor Lawrence is looking okay. Yeah. They get the playoff victory. But, of course, in the midst of that, he did have still the turnover problems. And then now we're in last year was year 2 with Doug Peterson. He regressed, and you still got the turnover problems. Now we're in year 3. Not only are you still a turnover problem, you are playing like trash, Trevor Lawrence. And his turnovers are such a problem. I think the turnovers, they're not getting fixed. And that's what's going to get Doug Peterson fired. I'm putting all the blame on Trevor. My thing is like, bro, you play quarterback position. You touch the ball on every offensive play. You got to be more careful with the football. You got to protect it. He's not protecting it. He's going to get fired because of this reason. They paid him in the offseason. It's much harder to move a top dollar $57, $58 million a year quarterback. It's tougher to move him and to just write the coach off and just give him the rest of his contract and say, be gone. It's a lot easier to do that. And unfortunately, Doug Peterson is that coach. He'll get fired. He's out of there. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, Sunshine. What up, Sunshine? Look, man. Not every quarterback is going to pan out in this league. It's a tough league. And Trevor Lawrence has had his flashes.
Rewind, Shane. Go back to the beginning of the show.
Oh, yeah. You go back. All right, baby. You don't want to miss that. You definitely want to go rewind that. I believe that this season, and yes, you're completely right, Trevor Lawrence is acting like Jalen Hurts. They're both being very reckless with their balls. I do not believe that Trevor Lawrence is done in this league. Obviously, as you mentioned, he's not even done in Jacksonville because there's no way that any team that pays the quarterback is going to get rid of the quarterback. And that's the problem with this league now is that we pay these quarterbacks especially so much money that it's head coach versus quarterback, and obviously the quarterback is going to win out every time. Fine. I don't really care for Doug Peterson as a coach anyways. I think his Super Bowl, appearance was more of a fluke and him having a product of a really good team that he had more than anything. And while I do believe that he's a better coach than Urban Meyer, and while I do believe that he did help Trevor Lawrence in his first year, I believe he has also helped him to regress this year. Also, you got rid of Calvin Ridley. You brought in Brian Thomas, one of the best rookie receivers in the league, going off right now.
Yeah, he's actually playing football. Yeah.
Christian Kirk has stepped back, right? Evan Ingram has been hurt. Travis Etienne has been hurt. So now we're starting to see the crumbling pieces kind of fall down from the Jaguars' mystique of last year. And again, you're right. It's not going to be Trevor Lawrence. It will be Doug Peterson that goes, and hopefully they can bring in a Shane Steichen coach.
I love you, Shane. I'm starring that comment. That's phenomenal. I love it.
I love that we all watch AEW, so we all know exactly what he's talking about.
Oh, exactly.
We talked many times about Khan and how, and this is not just a Khan problem because this happens in many franchises where these ownerships have too many hands and too many pots. Look at the Fenway Group where they have their hands in everything, including soccer and the European leagues and stuff like that. What are we doing? Tony Khan got a neck brace, and I'm supposed to believe that Trevor Lawrence is going to win a Super Bowl? Come on now. This man can't even fake a neck brace and a damn conference after the Young Bucks gave him a con driver. Get out of here. I ain't got time.
There's only one Andy Kaufman con, all right?
That's
Come
right.
on.
Yo, but great comment saying that's tremendous AEW work on a late night podcast.
I love it. Is it me? But CJ Stroud, I picked him to be my MVP this year, but he's not playing MVP like football. But yet, Texans are still 5-1. What's your take on the Texans?
They're exactly what I thought they would be, Super Bowl contenders. They were not my Super Bowl pick for this year, but in all transparency, I had already planned my Super Bowl pick out for next year anyways, and it was going to be the Texans versus the Packers because I just see their trajectory as young teams with good quarterbacks and good offensive pieces. The Texans are just stacked offensively. And now that Dixon is back from injury, I don't see many defenses that can stop the Houston Texans offense. And CJ Stroud at this point, while he had a rookie season that was above his head and above any rookie season that we've ever seen, I don't even think a step down or a regression of a little bit would be that bad in terms of the team's actual production or record-wise at the end of the season. I think if you take they can still win more games because maybe the rushing game is better or the receiving game is better, right? Tank Dell starts to step up a little bit. Nico Collins is hurt right now, but maybe he comes back. And maybe Stephon Diggs starts being a number one again or whatever it is. But they have the pieces to be a top 5 offense in the NFL. And their defense is on point. They got Will Anderson guarding that front line. They got Derek Stingley back in the backfield. Like, they've got pieces all over this team. They are
Neil Hunter's wreaking havoc up front too. Yeah. I think you answered that question masterfully. That was perfect. That's probably the perfect answer that you can answer that way. Because although I think he's not playing at an MVP level, I agree with you 100% on that take that so much talent on that team that it's okay that he's not playing like he did last year because it's not really hurting him. Now, with all that being said, when they go up against Baltimore, go up against Kansas City, that's going to be a true test. And obviously they got the Chiefs on their schedule this year. It's in Arrowhead, so we'll see how that factors in.
Tay, come back to me. What are you doing? Get away from this bum. All right, he's a bum.
Question about Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin has not closed the door on sticking with one quarterback. He's rolling with Justin Fields, but I talked about it last night. He kind of hasn't shut the door on not putting Russell Wilson in there. And my take on it is this. I think that Mike Tomlin had an initial thought process of starting with Russell Wilson. He ended up getting a calf injury, and it was forced upon him to go with Justin Fields because of injury. And now that Russell Wilson is getting closer and closer to back to 100%, I'm really thinking he just might pull the trigger and put Russell Wilson in there. Now, to be fair, I can see why you do it because obviously him being a veteran, you're a run first type of team. You rely on the run, you rely on the defense, and hey, that's when Russell Wilson shines. I mean, he's not meant to be the star of the offense. He's meant to have a good running game and a good defense to be the great supporting cast. You saw him do that in Seattle, get him to 2 Super Bowls, winning 1. So I understand why you would make that move. And I'm also looking at Justin Fields' stats. He's not killing it, but he's doing like enough. So, I mean, what's your take on how Mike Tomlin should handle this quarterback situation?
Yeah, so let me present you with a couple options here. So let's say that you came to my restaurant and you came for some breakfast, you had you some coffee, and all of a sudden you were like, okay, I want to get some pancakes and some scrambled eggs. Just a plain, regular breakfast meal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gonna get you through the day, gonna get you a couple wins here and there. Maybe not going to get you 300 yards, 400 yards. The pancakes just going to do you justice on the stomach. Make sure you're good for the day. Now, let's say you also come into the same restaurant, and I offer you some chorizo and Wagyu beef, green eggs and ham.
That sounds delicious.
Sounds delicious, but what about those green eggs? Could be bad, right? Those could be musty. They could be a little over boiled. They could be a little funky. The eggs could smell a little bit. But I did. You're damn right. I got the good witch from Denny's was my sandwich. You're damn right. Or the moon's over Miami. Shout out my brother Francis Long. But let's put it this way. Justin Fields is your plain breakfast. Russell Wilson is your green eggs with ham, but could be really good because of exactly what you said. The offense that we're playing in. Mike Tomlin, by the way, before we go any further, can we just put Mike Tomlin in the Hall of Fame right now? Because to do what he has done year after year after year, to consistently have winning records, and then to prove that last year with the carousel of trash basuda booty juice quarterbacks he had running through there, which are worse than the quarterbacks he has now. Like, let's just give Mike Tomlin his props that he is one of the best coaches we've ever seen.
Mhm.
Now, do I blame Russell Wilson back? No. Okay, Justin Fields won you some games. But like you said, the offense is built off of play action. It's built off of running. You got Najee Harris. You got Jalen Warren back there. You do play action with Russell Wilson. Bada boom, bada bing. That's what's supposed to work, right? Yes, you have Justin Fields. He's played well because he can run with his legs, but that's not what you need in this offense. You need some that can get the play action pass, get passes off to George Pickens, et cetera, Freiermuth, et cetera. So if I'm him, I let Justin Fields go till he loses the game, and then you pull him and you put Russell Wilson in and go from there.
Fair. I'm just been well, to be honest, I think Mike Tomlin has already put it out there, even going into the season, that he was going to roll with Russell Wilson. I just think that calf injury, he had the audible, and so far, 4-2 it looks good, but I think he makes the move based solely off of this take right here. He's looking at his rivals, Baltimore, and they're cooking right now. They are cooking, and he's like, I got to stay stride with them. And if he feels that Russell Wilson is the best candidate to keep them stride for stride with Baltimore, he'll more than likely go to Russ. It might not be a popular move, but let's be honest, you got to stay neck and neck with Baltimore. You got to stay with them, because right now they're rolling. Because here's the thing about Baltimore, and people they shit on Lamar Jackson about his passing. They're 8th in the league passing offense. They're number 1 in rushing offense. They're the overall total offense, number 1 in the league. They're rolling.
I have no time for anyone who ever has anything to say about the Ravens, because they continually prove themselves year after year after year after year. They have a top defense every year. Even they got rid of Patrick Queen and they still have a top defense. They run whoever and whatever at running back before Derrick Henry finally came along. Like, come on now. What are we talking about? The Ravens were my Super Bowl pick, and they will be in the Super Bowl.
Ooh, man. Look, you said a mouthful right there, but Derrick Henry, I'm trying to tell you, it goes back to the earlier comment. You look stupid, Jerry Jones, not even trying to offer the man. He wanted to be there.
He wanted, yeah. He was ready to sign in Dallas. Sure was.
He was ready to sign. You never offered him, and he signed late with Baltimore too. So it's not like you didn't have a chance to get him. You chose not to. You bring back Zeke Elliott. That's working wonders for you, right? And fact of the matter is, they finally, after 2 games, obviously losing the tough loss to Kansas City, losing to the Raiders, they haven't looked back since. And they finally figured out how to use both Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in that running game. And like the gap between them and everybody else in the league in rushing the football, it's that Grand Canyon crater that you were talking about.
And let's let everybody know, because there's a lot of novices out there that are not paying attention to and watching actual football like you and I are. The run game is in vogue now. They are bringing back the power rush offense. We're moving away from a passing NFL, and we're going back to the running backs. And running backs are going to start making a lot more money.
Bingo. Hey, I'm so glad you said that, because fact of the matter is, they tried to devalue the running back position. They tried to, and it was like, no, running backs aren't important. Bullshit. Baltimore, they stuck with the plan. They've always been a run first team. And lo and behold, watch it come back full circle within the next few years. You're going to see people going back to investing in the running back position, and they're going to make the running back position a focal point again, and it's going to come back full circle. And
one of the best parts about that is Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs being so good on their now second contracts.
Mm-hmm. Big time. Big facts. I know we talked about it going into the season. Buffalo.
Mm.
Look, I like the move. I like the move of them getting Amari Cooper. I think it helps. But to me, it showed that they really thought that getting rid of Diggs and Josh Allen was going to be able to play Superman for 17 games. 6 games in, they was like, "Yeah, we 4-2, but hey man, go get
And
that.
Cook is hurt. And Cook is hurt. Come on now.
Go get that man a wide receiver."
You go run that man into the ground, son. You go run that man into the ground. And Cooper is just a Diggs mold. What are we talking about? They're both pretty much the same type of receiver. Like, they're going to get you possessions. They're going to get you the first downs. They ain't going to do very many long bomb passes. Like, they are pretty much alongside the same type of receiver. So basically, and I get it. Diggs and Allen were having problems. I get it. Whatever. Who cares? You're always going to have problems between receivers and quarterbacks, just like you will quarterbacks and coaches.
Yeah, but you find a way to work that out, bro. You find a way.
So now they're going to bring Cooper in, and Cooper is I will say this, knowing both of these receivers very well. I went to the University of Maryland, so I know Diggs very well. Shout out my fellow Terp. And I'm also a Raiders fan, so I know Amari Cooper very well. Amari Cooper is a much, much more mild-mannered person than Diggs is. So Cooper is not going to speak up as much. He's not going to fledge his disappointment as much, his emotions or feelings out there as much as Diggs would. And not that that's a bad thing, but maybe for Josh Allen, it's what they need. And I think that Amari Cooper is a number one in this league.
Still, yeah. And I think that's a big point on not only did they making the trade to get Cooper, but I think it plays a big part in the reason why they moved on from Stephon Diggs, because eventually, egos always conquer dynasties. I mean, go ask Julius Caesar how egos ruin dynasties. So history lesson for you youngins. I mean, it's some of those things. It's those intangibles about football.
Rub and tug, not the rub and tug, not the.
Oh, speaking of that, thank you, Shane, for the segue.
Oh no.
You talking about the worst trade in NFL history?
The worst ever.
The worst trade in NFL history?
I mean, what was the worst before this? The Herschel Walker trade?
It was up
4 number one for Herschel Walker.
So Cleveland gives Houston all those number ones and some seconds, and they get Deshaun in return. And albeit it was in the midst of his little situation off the field, I thought it was daring. But the thing that baffles me the most about that trade.
Daring is a very nice word. I have a better word here in a little bit. But daring is very.
Well, what made the trade so terrible is that you paid the man $231 million fully guaranteed, sight unseen. You did not know what you was getting. You did not. You thought you was getting pre-rub and tug Deshaun Watson. You got post rub and tug. You got post rub and tug. You got because
you got post ejaculation Watson. That's what you got.
I've never seen a fall off this bad because
that dude busted his nut and fell to sleep forever.
Bro, it's crazy how literally 4 years ago, before the situations happened off the field, we were talking about him being one of the most elite quarterbacks in the league. Yep. We were putting him up there with Aaron Rodgers
in the playoffs.
We were talking about him with Patrick Mahomes in the same breath, and post rub and tug. This guy is Will Levis. This guy is bad.
Dude, he's averaging less than 5.5 yards per attempt. It is horrible.
And that's a good thing that Shane's bringing up. The posture of his teammates. Omar, they can't get out of this contract, bro.
No.
And
And they don't
nobody,
deserve to. They don't
and
deserve to.
nobody,
Fuck the Browns. They deserve
no,
everything that's coming to them.
nobody is trading for Deshaun Watson. You're not gonna find a fool to convince them to take that man in his contract off your hands. You can't. I have said this. If you're going to bench him, you better do it now. Because you can justify benching 27 million, all right? But the following years, you cannot justify benching 77 million per for the next 2 years. You can't just.
Who do you go to?
Well, I've never been the biggest Jameis Winston fan, but I trust him a lot more than Deshaun right now.
I mean, but come on now. You're paying him all that money. You gonna sit that man on the bench and let Jameis Winston run out there and throw interceptions?
I get it, but bro, he is bad.
He's bad.
He is bad. I can't sit here and just look. I know they're sitting at 1-5, and there's more than likely that they won't get better. But
their season's done. Oh, they're done. They're done. Yeah.
But still, I can't justify this guy being in the huddle, being the starting quarterback the way that he is playing. He is bad.
But how do you explain to your fans that you're going to sit, like you said, $100 million over 3 years on the bench?
Hey man, I'll just have to release a statement, say, hey man, this is in the best interest of wanting to win right now. And that's the best that I can do. But like you said, so that's the caveat. We obviously see that and speaking of Browns, my man Bobby G is a Browns fan. I feel for you, bro.
Oh, sorry, bro. I'm a Raiders fan. I feel you.
Look, the caveat about this is you've already traded away your number one weapon in Amari Cooper. So you're pretty much
you're giving up on the season.
Yeah, you're giving up on the season. So at this point, what's it even matter if you make the switch at quarterback?
But as you mentioned, you're not going to trade him for anything. So you can't continue to sit this man on the bench, though. So what do? Do you bring in a quarterback coach to try to coach him up? What do? Do you run him through a massage parlor and try to get him juiced up again? Do you bring some naked women to lather them up in the locker room before a game?
Hey, you took my answer right out of my mouth. I'm going to the boom boom rooms in Cleveland. I am making sure that we get all the first class treatment in all the spas. No cameras. All right. And we signing NDAs. And no cameras. All right.
We going to the strip club every Saturday night before the game. So my man can get a couple lap dances. Okay.
Bro, you got to try something to get this man's head back in the game. Because
that man is missing some vagina bad.
It's up here. It's up here. It's something is not clicking in that man's head that he has forgotten how to play football.
Now I have to ask you this, and this is a serious question, and it's not a football question.
Mm-hmm.
If you, and not you personally, but if a person were to get themselves into a situation of the sorts, and you are accused across the country of basically being a molester, not a child molester, but a molester of multiple women, how does that affect your mind frame? Like, even if you move away from that place where, not that he didn't do it in every fucking place he went, but I mean, you move away to Cleveland where hopefully none of these massage therapists reside. How does that affect your mind mental health wise though? Like, why would you even expect him to become able to become a quarterback again?
That was Omar. See, that's why you my dog. I thought that was the biggest thing that was going to be the hurdle for him, was the mental part of dealing with all that whole situation and him to focus solely on football. We can't forget, he just settled another suit.
Another one just last week, right? Like, they're still coming
another suit. So the fact of the matter is, if he just settled that suit just a few weeks ago, what else is going to pop up? So this is he thought it was over the first time, but then another one pop up. Are we going to have more? That is the thing about the whole situation is, I don't think it's done. I don't think for me, he's going to have to mentally still deal with the situations because we just saw another situation popped up and got settled.
Hey, what did Cat Williams say? What did Cat Williams say? All big dick deviants will be exploited
in
2024. This year, okay? In 2024, all these big dick deviants. I wish my camera were on so you could see me. I don't know what's going on. All these big dick deviants. Hold on, let me get so you can see my face when I say this. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. Cat told us. Cat told us. All these big dick deviants. Look at this. Have you ever seen it? You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. There's nobody up there for him. Maybe he don't like that. Maybe he don't like the fat redneck white women. You know
man, that's crazy.
I'm sorry, Cleveland. I apologize. I ain't never been there. I don't know what you got. You might have some beautiful women there. I don't know.
Not enough to make them play good, apparently.
Not enough to make them play good. Yeah, nah, you're right, man. I'm sorry. Like, his head's not in the game. I don't know what you need to do to get that juiced up, but you better do something because that's a waste of fucking money, and that is the worst NFL trade in
history. And it's already setting that franchise back. It's going to set them back even probably for the next 3 to 4 years.
I can tell you this as a fat ass Russell former quarterback holder. A quarterback will a wrong choice in quarterback will set you back at least 10 years.
Yeah, that's all they got is the dog pound, and it ain't a whole bunch.
I haven't seen the dog pound in forever. Where are they at? I haven't seen that. They ain't dog pounding nothing.
It's bad. That's bad. You literally have to be a full idiot to top this bad trade. That's how bad.
Look, everybody told them beforehand. It's not like the whole world wasn't like, this is a bad idea, and they still did it. So, hey, they got nobody to blame but themselves. And the fact that he runs that franchise with his wife, and the fact that his wife let this happen is even more disappointing than anything.
Okay, so there were other teams in play to get Deshaun Watson that would have made the trade, and Cleveland did it. That's not the issue. The issue is that you paid him sight unseen that godly amount of money, fully guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed, too.
Fully guaranteed. Sight unseen. I think that's what makes the trade so bad, is you literally, we'll trade for him, which is, hey, understandable because you thought you were getting, pre-herk and jerk. But what you got is a guy who's mentally not in the game. His head is not there. I
hate that you say Erk and jerk because I used to drink the Erk and jerk all the fucking time. In high school, I used to drink that Erk and jerk like nobody's business, yo. But this is the thing again, and I hate that I have to put this on a woman, but if it were Arthur Blank going out and getting Deshaun Watson, it would be a lot easier for me to digest than it is for the Browns franchise, which is not just run by the husband, but also run by the wife, which now means that the wife is complicit in accepting that she signed this guy who has, come on now. If it's 1 or 2 or 3 complaints, maybe we'll believe you. But 25, I'm sorry, dog, you did something.
25 plus and counting, because it looks like there's going to be. Obviously, I don't have any evidence of it, but the fact that he just settled another one a few weeks ago, there might be more coming out the woodwork.
You don't believe Diddy anymore, do we?
Oh, hell no. Great point. Great.
Did you see the picture that came out with J-Lo butt naked, Jay-Z sitting there with his dick swinging, and just some rando dude, we don't even know who he was? It's like, what is happening at these parties, dog? What?
Hey, I don't want to know. Hey, Crafty Southpaw, you bring up a good point. It makes what Baker Mayfield doing, it makes it more laughable because
I didn't even think about that.
You were in such a rush to get him out of there and this is what you got. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Like, think about the Browns keeping Baker Mayfield. He'd be like an 8-year quarterback for them, kind of like a franchise quarterback for them, still doing the little, progressive commercials and whatever. And now you got
him to be. They drafted him to be the franchise quarterback. He gets you to the playoffs. You haven't been there, and you beat the Steelers, your rival. And he had a down year the following year, but that don't mean that you just give up. I thought it was crazy, but here we are. Of course, it's Wednesday show, so I always give my top 10 before I sign off. And I'll have you pick it apart, and then you'll throw your chime in here. Number 10, I got the Buffalo Bills. You were able to get the win over the Jets, but like I stated before, the reason why you get Amari Cooper is because you knew for a fact you were not going to win or be relevant trying to play superhero ball with just Josh Allen. It just wasn't going to happen. I got him at number 10. I didn't have him ranked in my top 10 last week because they were coming off 2 bad losses, but I got them at number 10. Number 9, I got the Steelers right there. They were not ranked in my top 10 last week. I got them at number 9 this week. Point blank is that like we discussed about the quarterback situation, Justin Fields is doing enough to be 4-2, which is cool. But he's not your deciding factor that's going to continue to get you W's. And I can understand why you go to Russell Wilson. So I got them at number 9. Number 8, they didn't move from last week's ranking. I got the Buccaneers. Props to Baker Mayfield. He's proved me wrong. I've never been a Baker Mayfield fan, but he's been playing good football. Not only this year, definitely last year, getting to the playoffs, got a victory over the Eagles. Could have won that game against Detroit. Had Todd Bowles not quit 42 seconds into the fourth quarter while they were driving. I didn't understand what the fuck that was. I'd have been pissed off as a player. Like, dude, what are you kneeling the ball for?
Yeah, that was wild.
You go get the win. You conceded? No. So I didn't understand that, but they're right there in number 8. Number 7, I got the Falcons. They didn't move from last week's ranking. They're starting to figure out what they're doing on offense. I love their secondary. I'll probably that secondary pound for pound against any other team in the NFL. Jesse Bates, AJ Terrell, Justin Simmons, ball hawks that they got back there at number 7. And they're starting to, like I said, Kirk Cousins, say what you want about the guy, but when you give the guy a talent around him, he's starting to figure out how to get them the football. They're starting to come around on that side of the ball. Definitely you see Drake London taking a step forward that we've been waiting on. You start to see a little bit of Kyle Pitts starting to break out what we thought he was. It hasn't fully matured to what we thought he was yet, but you slowly see it starting that he's starting to break out. Commanders.
This is my fantasy team off Kyle Pitts. Come on.
Oh, I stayed away from him. Number 6, I got Commanders down a spot from 5 to 6 this week. Tough loss against Baltimore, but they did show that they can hang with the big boys. I got them at number 6. Texans, I got at number 5, down a spot from the week before. Look, just like you said earlier, the best answer that you could ever give to that question. So much talent, so much great things around on both sides of the football. You get Joe Mixon back. I don't predict him to stay at number 5 next week. I think they're going to start rolling now that they got Joe Mixon back, got that running game going again. Number 4, I got the Lions down from a spot last week. The Lions still look like a damn good team, in my opinion. Before Aiden Hutchinson injury, I definitely thought that they were, head above shoulders, probably one of the better teams in the NFC. For sure. I'm curious how they're going to look without Aiden Hutchinson. I'm not sure because we haven't seen it in the last few years or what that defense is going to look like without him. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure they're going to be able to hold at that number 4 spot going into next week. Number 3, up 3 spots from the week before, Baltimore Ravens. They're rolling. They are absolutely scary. You had better beat them early in the year. So I'm talking about you, my Chiefs. I'm glad you got them week 1. because you don't want to see them right now. And the way that they're playing, it'll be a damn difference in the championship game from last year. They look scary. Just like you said, they were your Super Bowl pick, and I would not be mad if anybody picked them to go to the Super Bowl for sure. And hey, winning it. I mean, they're good, and they are damn good. Number 2, no change in their ranking. Minnesota Vikings. Look, they've been playing great football on both sides of the ball. I do have my trepidation, just like you, about Sam Darnold. Can he hold this up for the rest of the season? We've never seen it before from him. I don't know if things can change, but as of right now, Kevin O'Connell has him looking like a serviceable quarterback that knows what he's doing. Again, can he do it for the rest of the season? I don't know. Jury's still out. But right now, they are one of the better teams in the NFL. And of course, number 1, no ranking change on them. Kansas City Chiefs. Look, man, this is not a homer pick. This is just point blank, period. All right. When you have injuries to your top running back, your top wide receiver, and you still find ways to win.
Wow.
And granted, I get it. Patrick Mahomes is a different animal. I get it. But this is a defensive team right now. It was a defensive team last year. When you got the defense pretty much carrying the load on a Patrick Mahomes-led offense type of team, that says something. And until they are beaten, they remain at the top. We'll see what happens. Look, they're not going to go undefeated. So to all my fellow Chiefs fans, get that shit out your head now. They will not go undefeated. There's some teams left on this schedule that will give them a run. And just hope that they can, look like they can three-peat. All right. Right now, they look like they can three-peat because any obstacle that's been thrown ahead of them, they've been able to conquer it. But there's a hurdle called Baltimore Ravens that you do not want to see come January. I'm telling you right now, you don't want to see it. All right. You better hope that they flounder and get bumped out by some team like Houston or somebody else, and they just don't play Baltimore Raven football for one game in a playoff matter and get bumped out. But I'm telling you right now, that's a hurdle that's going to be real hard to leap over for sure. Shane says you'll find out soon about Darnold with division play coming up for them. Oh yeah, especially with the way that their division's been playing. We talked about that earlier. It's been crazy how the NFC North has all of a sudden got the best division in football, which is crazy. Hey man, go ahead, nitpick at anything or swap some teams out that you want to, man. Go ahead, take a stab at it.
Yeah, just a couple here that I have. As you mentioned, I am not a believer in the Minnesota Vikings. So because of the fact that I am also not a believer in the power rankings have to go by record, I will move the Vikings down, even though they are 5-0. I will move them down to number 5. I'm going to put the Texans above them. I'm going to put the, all those teams that you mentioned, the Ravens, all those teams are above them to me. Mm-hmm. I still do not believe they're that good, and I believe they will falter by the end of the season. Moving down to the bottom of your rankings, again, same thing with the Commanders. Look, man, I'm from DC. I want my friends to be happy. Even though I hate the Redskins. I mean, oh, shit. See, I'm so used to living in D.C. Even though I hate the Commanders, I just don't think that a rookie quarterback, and I will say this about any rookie quarterback, and this is even after C.J. Stroud's rookie season last year, because that can always be an outlier. Mm-hmm. I do not believe that rookie quarterbacks are able to lead their teams to Super Bowls, much less just, playoff victories. So I personally move the Commanders down. I would move the Packers up into the top 10. I would move the Bills up into maybe even 6 or 5 range. And San Francisco is going to be my 10th team because I don't care if they're 3-3. They've dealt with a lot of injuries, and they've proven when they don't have injuries that they are a top team. Now, have they persevered through the injuries like Kansas City has this year? No. But Kansas City has done something that you mentioned is just unbelievable. If anybody else had dealt with these injuries, they would be 1-5. So the fact that Patrick Mahomes can power them through those injuries, well, Brock Purdy's not Patrick Mahomes.
Mhm.
And so, but I do still believe that San Francisco, once they get all their pieces in order, I still believe are a Super Bowl contending team. So I'll put them there at number 10.
Fair. Hey, no quorums. I definitely struggled with those last few teams, 10-9, because I was thinking I kind of like the way the Packers are starting to get Josh Jacobs rolling. I know they're dealing with some injuries with Zaire Alexander that kind of has left their secondary a little bit exposed. But hey, say what you want about Jordan Love. I think that guy's legit. I think he's legit.
No, he's a dude, yo. Like when you find yourself a quarterback, and again, the Packers just know how to do this shit. It's just one after the other. Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, like they know how to create and develop quarterbacks.
Bingo. That word, develop. And I talked with my man, Man Down Zoe, part of Man Down Sports. Shout out to them. He's a Falcons fan. And I think that was kind of some of the points that I made on how to justify getting Michael Penix in that draft was develop. Maybe he doesn't see the field this year. And hopefully if he doesn't see the field, that's actually a good thing. That means that Kirk Cousins is playing well. And so
I think the reason that they got so much backlash, and not that I think, we all know the reason that they got so much backlash is because though they had just signed Kirk Cousins. It wasn't like they had Kirk Cousins for 3 years and then drafted a quarterback. Now at the same time though, you got to look at quarterbacks with Achilles. Look at Aaron Rodgers. He ain't doing shit. Kirk Cousins was even lambasted because he had a bad first game. So quarterbacks take time to come back from injuries, and you have to be prepared. And good franchises think ahead. And whether you like it or not, Penix was thinking ahead. And whether you like it or not, oh, well, now they got him in the backup, and now he's going to be a quarterback for them in the future. So,
hey, it's called insurance. All right. There's a team in Miami that should have had some insurance a couple of years ago, and now they're paying for it because now they got no quarterback and their offense is dead because of it.
And you wish you had a Penix instead of a Skylar Thompson, huh, don't you?
That was a solid joke right there. If you got it, you got it. No, but I mean, when you look at the franchise that the Packers have done over the years, so you get a Hall of Famer in Brett Favre, which you didn't know that you were going to get that when you made that trade for Atlanta.
That's true.
And he turns into a Hall of Famer. You get Aaron Rodgers. He sits for 3 years. All right. You get another Hall of Famer in Aaron Rodgers. Everybody did the same thing. The way that Atlanta did when they get Michael Penix, they reacted the same way. Why would you go get Jordan Love? What? Why? In the first round? For what? It wasn't an 8th overall. It was like, I think it was like in the 20s.
I think 24. Yeah, 24.
But the fact of the matter is that they had the formula, and I think Atlanta's pretty much copycatting it right now. And it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to have insurance because we just got to be honest. Tua, I have my reservations about Tua, but him and Mike McDaniels are magic in Miami. But the fact of the matter is, 2 years ago, when you saw this man struggling to stay healthy with the concussions, that should have been your point in time to say, hey, man, let's go get some insurance. Let's go be in good hands with Allstate. You decided not to. You didn't do it. You didn't do it. Okay, granted, he stayed healthy last year. You paid him. So now you're with him. You paid him. But you still didn't get no insurance. I mean, trust me, that little $100-something I pay for my car insurance every year, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But when I love it is if I get in an accident.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Well, I have to assume, and I think I read a story somewhere. Now, I know what you mean by insurance in terms of backup quarterback. But I have to assume, and I believe I did read this, that they have insured some portion of his contract for injury. So I believe, like, if he does retire, they get, some portion of that contract back.
Yeah, and he still has some guaranteed money to take care of him and his family.
Sure, yeah. Which he should. And I mean, I'm with Mike McDaniel. Look, dude, you're doing this. This is your life. This is your family. If you feel like you want to continue to play and continue to make money and support your family, then by all means, go ahead. Who the hell am I to tell you no? Shit, Brett Favre got Parkinson's now. Junior Seau killed somebody because he had mental. Chris Benoit went and murdered his mother, his wife, and his son. Like, all these motherfuckers got CTE. It ain't gonna change. You can put as many guardian caps as you want on these motherfuckers, and you still gonna have CTE. So it don't matter. I'm sorry. Like, you've already played this game long enough that you probably already have some amount of it, anyways, just built up from junior leagues and high school and college and all this other shit where they don't even diagnose concussions.
Yeah.
Like, if it were me, look. If it were me personally, if I were his father or Mike McDaniel wanted to act like his father, I'd tell him don't do it, just as a personal, I like you, I love you, I want you to be okay. But the professional trying to make more money for your family, keep it going. Fuck, do what you do, man. You want to keep playing? Go right ahead.
No, hey, I'm right there with you. I personally would try to talk him into just, hey, man, hey, I love you. I want you here. In the physical form, in the mental form, more than anything. I want you here mentally, as a person, as Tua Tagovailoa. Football is a sport; it's a game. You need to have life after it. I would try to talk him into that direction, but I'm not going to fault the man. That's look. I even talked about it a few weeks ago. We got to remember Teddy Bruschi had a stroke.
DeMar Hamlin died on the field last year, and he's playing again.
And by the way, now that you bring up DeMar Hamlin, he's actually been playing good football this year. He's
the one that injured what's his name?
Tua. Yeah. Well, Tua kind of did that himself. He put his head down. I didn't understand that, but at the end of the day, you've seen stories of people that have like DeMar Hamlin, like Teddy Bruschi, who life was in danger, and they've come back and played meaningful football. Bruschi had a stroke, came back, and ended up playing 4 more years. Alex Smith it was on the surgery table, a fungus eating at his leg. An infection literally took not only his leg. People need to understand, Alex Smith nearly died on the table.
Yeah, he almost died. Yeah.
He came back and played meaningful football. So I'm not going to tell a man not to do what he loves.
Their livelihood, like they don't know anything else.
Exactly. So I'm not going to be the one to say, oh, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Hey, Shane, man, appreciate you jumping in, man. We about to get out of here.
Hey, brother, we love you, man. Thank you.
No, for sure. Hey, great stuff, Shane, man. I appreciate you jumping in the comments. Just do us a favor, man. Go ahead, like, share, subscribe to both Ball and Buzz Sports and Entertainment and ILW Sports Network. Everybody, do the same. Like, share, subscribe to ILW Sports Network as well as Ball and Buzz Sports and Entertainment. Hit that bell notification. Tap in with us, because please believe there will be many future collaborations between myself and the sports professor Omar. Man, drop the social so that people make sure that they like, share, and subscribe to your content, my brother.
Yes, sir. As you mentioned, you already know where you need to be. I need everybody right now. I know you're watching on YouTube because this is where I watch Mar on his late night out episodes every week. I'm on my couch every day and I'm watching a late night episode. I'm commenting. So I know you're on there now. Get on your YouTube. Hit in Ball and Buzz, BALLANDBUDS. You see the logo. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube because I add the videos every day. I'm now doing boxing interviews. I'm at the country box events here in Nashville. I interviewed Albert Hainsworth last week, so go ahead and check that out. And yeah, we're same place on Instagram, but yeah, just YouTube is the most important. Next week we'll have Clubber D Combat G special for UFC 208 to preview that and review the boxing fights we had recently. And as well, I will be coming up with a new show the professors, Sports Professors Weekly, and it will be coming on. By the way, I need y'all to know your Monday lineup is going to be tremendous. Okay, you have Stephen A. Smith coming on at 4:30 in the afternoon, right? Following up Stephen A. Smith is the even better Wild Card Mar at 5:30 in the afternoon. And then right after him, you're going to have me coming up there about 6:30 in the afternoon with my new show. So y'all make sure you tune into Ball and Buds. And like Mar said, it's Ball and Buds and IOW all day. We already are family, and this will continue to keep on, so y'all keep in touch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, y'all know the deal, man. Said it all. Tap in with Ball and Buzz Sports Entertainment. At the bottom of the screen, that's where all the IOW Sports Network social media platforms is at. And if you want to tap in with me personally, right there at my fingertip, Twitter, Casey Wildcard Mar, because I be doing so many podcasts. I just post all my shit right there, and you can get into it. Hey, man, always a pleasure. Always a great time. Hey, y'all know what it is. We going to get up out of here. Hey, we'll see y'all next week on 3 more episodes of the IOW Sports Show, Late Night Owl Edition. On behalf of Omar, the sports professor, I am the Wild Card Mar. Y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. God bless. We out of here. Peace.
Yeah. Silent Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. IOW Sports Network, Late Night Edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild Card Mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild Card Mar. We